Hello and welcome to the rare return of ShutIn Spotlights on the newly released from uh, early access Peglin. Peglin is basically, and this may or may not be an appropriate reference, but it's like a little RPG adventure kind of thing mixed with Peggle. If you ever played those, if you're in your 30s like me, you probably have. And what we do is, much like you see on screen, we just, throw balls at pegs and try and get to the end of any given particular run. Runs will last usually about 30 minutes, give or take a few minutes here or there. And we will go over and get more into the actual game, but before we get there, quickly look at the options menu. It's actually, it's pretty robust for a little tiny, what is effectively super simple art style game. Languages, resolutions, Windows, VSyncs, all that stuff. It's honestly pretty, what's the word? All encompassing, really. You can't really ask for that much more. And we also do have, things like your speed up amount if you want to go faster, but like the game says you shouldn't, so I won't for this run, but you can if you want to live on the wild side and run 3 times speed, but I don't like bugs, so 2 times it is. Beyond our little options, we have this cool little feature called the Encyclopedia, and this will also be a good way to, lead into the fact of, talk about the fact that the game leans into, there we go, got there eventually, into lots of puns wherever you can, which are pretty safe and kind of cute, and usually they're like ball or sphere related, but the puns are pretty self-evident. Here tracks all your achievements as well as, actual Steam achievements. Both track the same thing. Bestiary basically shows all of the, whenever you play, assuming you try the game out, this will be where you eventually learn and expand upon your understanding of all of the various enemies you can get going up against, and you'll fight them throughout the game world, and they'll give you little drops, and this will give you more of your research points. The more research points you have, the more you'll learn about the particular enemy in question. I just use the green slime drop because it's the most basic of enemies, and we'll see one in 2 minutes when we go to the actual game anyway. And they all have different levels and different little loots, but it's a cute little, little extra feature to add some extra life to the game, since if you're like me and have played this for, how many hours? A little shy of 50 hours. For the most part, you've seen most of the things you're going to see in a game, and the Bestiary gives you a nice little bit of extra playtime and a thing to do if you're one of the more completionist-style people, of which, granted, I am not. Anywho, with all the background information out of the way, we'll go right on to a new game. Now that we're here, we'll talk about some of the more unique things. The actual Peglin you see as the default here is who you'll get, or who will be, quote, unlocked for you from the start. And each individual starting class has their own little relic. Each one's have different abilities. You can read whatever one it is. I won't bother to bore you with that. But what you see here is the Crucible. And it's effectively, again, another way to add more things to do in theory, longer amount of playtime you can get. You can do all the different levels of Crucible for all of the various classes. Or you can do like I'm going to do, and what I do most of the time now is I don't run any Crucible. I like the base game as is, and I've done some Crucible stuff. But again, it's more of one of those features where it's great if you like it and you want to get the most amount of bang for your buck. It's a great little extra thing, but again, I'm not a real completionist. I just like playing the game in the base form. I don't need that much. And then whenever you also, while we're here, when you eventually unlock individual new characters, they'll each have their own individual Crucible levels that are tracked across each individual character. I'm not certain if all of the Crucibles are the same, regardless, like if 1 and 2 are the same, because I believe they are across all characters, though it's tracked independently. Yeah, I believe that the individual Crucible levels are tracked, but what each, what level 1 is and what level 2 is a Crucible is the same across all the classes. And while we're here, we can go ahead and go over to the one there we go, the one Peglin, or the one, we'll say Peglin, for lack of a better term, that I don't have unlocked. It does do a good job of showing you that if you want to unlock more characters to play, to give you, again, more mileage out of the game and a different experience each time, each of the individual characters will show you what they need to unlock them. In this case, I think it's like the soldier dude requires a whole bunch of bulwark, which is basically shields, for lack of a better term. And you don't strictly need to get them, but they are nice that they're there. And again, anything that gives a little indie game like this more mileage is a great thing. And I'll probably get around to unlocking him at some point. But anywho, with my rambliness out of the way, we will turn off Crucible and go with the base experience that if you at home decide to play the game, you will play and you'll see, which is just a Peglin out of the box. And then we'll go ahead and just play and sort of show you what you'll expect. At the beginning of each run, regardless of whatever individual character you pick, you'll always have a starting gift or starting boost, and it'll, of course, I hear a cat meowing in the background. It's okay, buddy. What the individual boost will, of course, be random at any given point in time. It does have a lot of roguelite elements, and not only are the boost in question some of the random things, but the way the maps are generated, what each individual stop along the path will vary, stuff like that. All pretty self-explanatory. Sure, we'll do the ambiguous amulet. Extra damage is always nice. And while we wait, this is the first stage, basically. There are three stages in the game as of right now. There's the forest, the castle, and the mines. Starting at the forest, going to the castle, then to the mines, and that's the end of a run. Before we start all of this, we'll show the map a little bit. Whenever you eventually make progress, all of these different signs will mean different things. Where a skull is a guaranteed fight, a question mark is basically, a mystery chance kind of thing. It can be anything. It's basically a gold coin, more or less, with G in the middle. It's a shop. Treasure chest is just a treasure chest that you can get loot from. The big red skulls are boss battles, basically. And that is all that you'll practically find on any given map, with the exception of the actual boss for the particular map you're on. I believe, if I remember correctly, there are, I want to say, 2 bosses. Is it 2 bosses? Either 2 or... Sorry, I think it's 3 bosses to each individual floor. So there's, again, another layer of replayability, since odds are you're not going to get the same boss every single time. Anywho, to the actual game in question, you have your little reticule and you can aim, and then you'll be able to fire whenever you want. You can, of course, target whichever enemies are on screen that you want, though each individual ball will have different targeting restrictions and different characteristics that are unique to it and it alone. You can also see the enemies that are coming up, so you can make a bit of a battle plan for what you want any given battle to look like or to do, or how you want to play it, basically. Last thing we'll talk about, all of these are pegs, of course, but each individual peg is a little bit differently. The one that I'm hovering over right now is just a normal peg. These with the little that are like the little yellow in the middle are coins, where basically when you hit them, you will get coins added to your total that you can use to eventually, say, buy more balls or heal yourself, or just do whatever you would think that you can do with gold in a game like this. The green little pegs that have an R on them are for refreshes, and that'll refresh the board of all of the pegs that you had, with the exception of bombs don't refresh by default, though you can get certain little what's the word, like artifacts and stuff that can make bombs refresh, but by default bombs do not. And the last one is the little exclamation point in yellow is a crit, where any given peg has two forms of damage, where on the left you see a normal peg, and that's what the damage it'll do for each normal peg hit. And after you hit a crit, whatever the crit damage is will be done for each individual peg you hit. So it will be, say, 2 for every peg you hit until you hit a crit, and then it's 4 for every peg you hit, where it does, if I'm not mistaken, it counts retroactively for all the pegs you've hit in any given turn. So it's not like if I were to hit 2 regular pegs and a crit, for example, it wouldn't be 2 damage, 2 damage, and 4 damage. It would be 3 instances of 4. So it's, I believe retroactive is the correct word. All that out of the way, we'll now get into the actual game eventually. One thing I do personally like to do is just try and, in the first few maps, the first few levels, or whatever you want to call them, I do try and get a good amount of gold so we can start, saving up for the ability to get things and figure out where our build's going to go. Anywho, I'm not actually hitting the fast forward. I will hit the fast forward. But yeah, and like you saw there, all of our pegs does all the damage, and we eventually got a crit, admittedly by accident, but it does show that the crit damage is applied retroactively to all of your, I believe, to all of your pegs hit, so it's another reason to go after crits, though sometimes you might not want crits, because some pegs can do less damage on crits than they will normally, but again, we'll cross all that when we come to it. In the meantime, just go and try and hit some pegs and get some cash. Okay, we didn't like that particular refresh. We do like to try and get the most mileage out of our refreshes as possible. And actually, since we hit a bomb, I did forget one little thing when we forgot. The black pegs are bombs, which, they look like bombs, so I thought that was self-evident, but I should explain that. Also, by default, bomb takes 2 hits to activate. When they haven't been hit at all, they look like the rest of the bombs in the map. When they've been hit once, they have the little, their fuse is lit, showing that if you hit the bomb again, it'll explode. When a bomb explodes, and I'll actually try and get over there and show you. Oh, hang on, I saw one over there. Oh, there we go. When a bomb explodes, where if you hit normal pegs, for the most part, the peg in question will only hit the guy you're targeting or the first guy in line if you can't, pierce. Bombs, as you will see, will do 50 damage of AoE to all enemies on the board. So it's a good little way to get sort of AoE and penetration regardless of whatever pegs you happen to have. Now, go back to getting money. Normally, I try not to use bombs unless I can get a whole lot of mileage out of them, but I am trying to do my best to show the game and all of its aspects as much as I can. But for the most part, we've gotten through all of the nitpicky stuff. Now we can just hit pegs and try and, bonk slimes in this case. Again, getting more money. Of course, the enemies you'll see will, of course, end up varying, but for the most part, you will always see slimes in the first one, but the more you progress, you'll see a larger variety of enemies and different encounters and stuff that you'll need to make individual plans for when you come across them. But it always does start in somewhat the same level, or the same level in the same range, so you have a good jumping off point. And now that we actually beat the first battle, this will be another thing I need to talk about. Whenever you complete a battle, for the most part, you'll find this reward section. The thing is, with our Peglin tuition, we have additional options to choose from, but even if you're choosing one of the other characters, this screen will remain largely the same. Here you can buy new particular orbs, and any given orb, you'll be able to hover over them and see whatever their effects are. For my game, these 3 don't have the little exclamation point, but for you, a lot of them will. The exclamation point basically means that you haven't picked this orb before, and if you want to, try something new. Here's a way to do something new. And that's what that basically is. You can also upgrade orbs, as each orb has individual levels, all going up to level 3. Show all orb levels. And what individual upgrades to will vary from individual ball to ball. Pebbles are your bog standard ones, but other ones can be more interesting. And you know what? I will do a reorbanizer. And this is one of the reasons why you want to save up some cash early on, so you can actually buy orbs and get a build going. Reorbanizer doesn't really pin you down to any one particular build, and it is one thing I haven't done. And when you're done, you'll have individual options that you'll see here. You can go to the left or the right. These are represented by the different like dashed lines here to sort of show you which particular path will go where and what you might have access to further on. So you do need to have some degree of a plan here. Since I want to try and go for a shop and then ideally a boss battle to get just access to more loot, we will go right. If you want to, you can always, at the end of any given map, if you have leftover pegs like this, you can always try and collect more coins if you want to, or if you are not certain that you'll be able to like hit the coins and go the direction you want, you can always just do what I'm going to do and say screw all of it and just guarantee you're going to go in the way you want to go. There we go. This is a good one. And like I talked about earlier, the question marks are just basically little event squares, and they can be anything from other boss battles or just more regular battles to things like this, where each individual event little square will vary, and what you want to do will vary from any given thing. So any given like event will be different, so you just have to sort of roll with the punches, and that's kind of the beauty of the whole roguelike element of it. You kind of have to, you know, just see where good old RNG will take you. I don't want 3 pebbles because they're awful, so we're just gonna take the hits. Good. Yeah, I don't like this. Gonna try and go right and hopefully get there. No. Yeah, there we go. Gonna really need to get some more gold so we can go to a shop and I can show you guys that. Oh, one more thing I did forget to tell you guys about. Right here, you see the back and then the little trash can. This is basically the discard function. So think of all of these balls as like a deck in any deck builder game, where in this case roguelike deck builder game. And sometimes you want to say discard through any given peg because you want to save it. For instance, there are some pegs that are some balls that will heal, and you don't always want to heal, say when you're at full health. And if you were to say hit, it says backspace, but you can also hit the right mouse button, and it'll do the same thing. And you can see, in this case, I've used the one discard I can use on any given turn, though there are ways to get that up or down, but your default amount across all classes, as far as I'm aware, is 1. I guess we'll just go and get some coins, see what we're gonna do. Hell yeah, doing damage. These are not super well placed, but money is money. One thing that you will need to take into account, and this is not as much of an issue in the early game, but it is nice to have some form of either ability to do AoE, or certain pegs will have a thing called overflow, which is like excess damage from one will go into the next, or certain orbs will have the ability to pierce. There's like there's a spear one that's called Sphere, and that one, say, pierces one enemy, and any way really that you can get forms of, we'll say, AoE for lack of a better word, is always great. We're doing pretty good, and I need money to go to the shop, so we're just going to go for money. Damage is nice, but money's what we're looking for right now. Got the refresh anyway. Hell yeah. We are running out of money on the board, so I guess we'll just do damage. Come Come on, go here, go here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah! Give me the money. Now, it's extremely overkill, but what are you going to do? I guess we can do a refresh here. Not going to get a crit, but we should have, well, nearly enough to kill a particular slime. Go ahead and use the Dag Orb's massive damage on crit. There we go. Beautiful. God, it's so overkill. We do need to find some form of AoE here. Yeah, there's so little gold on the board, I'm not going to bother to worry too much. We're just going to go for damage now. I was kind of hoping I was going to get that refresh, but yeah, what are you going to do? I don't need really to shuffle that much. Sure. Come on, come on. Well, okay, I forgot it. Wouldn't really have mattered that much. Of course, at the end of whenever you get to the end of your deck, we're going to call it for lack of a better word. I don't know if there's an actual in-game term for it, but we're just going to call it a deck because that's what it is. When you get to the end of your deck, you have a turn where you have to reload, and your enemies do get a normal turn whenever you reload, and more often than not, you'll take damage during that, although there are ways to stop that, but usually when you reload, it means that your opponents get a free turn, basically, so do keep that in mind. But that's a good way to achieve some balance. Okay, give me a refresh, please. Thank you. It's not great. Guess we'll do a Reorbanizer and hopefully get a crit there. There we go. They're almost certainly dead now. Hell yeah. And of course, like we talked about, every single time you complete a battle, and it's only a battle where you get an option to look at rewards like this. If you, say, go to a chest or a shop, you won't get access to these things. The only time you'll get access to a reward screen like this if you go on like the mystery spots, or if the spot happens to just contain a normal battle, at which point it plays out like normal. Not a super big fan of any of these. We want money, so we're gonna just go to the shop. And this would be a good instance to show the shop mechanic here. Here we have our little Peglin, or I think it's called Haglin, maybe? But our little shopkeeper here. And this is all the things you can buy for the various amounts that you can buy them for. Let's see. We will remove an orb, and removing an orb is one way, and is probably the most reliable way to remove balls from your deck, and therefore just have a more concise and smaller, package, so you can more control what you want to do. Basically, all the reasons you would want to thin your deck in any card game of any kind, anyway, all those reasons apply here. The pebbles are bad. Can't really get anything else, but I kind of don't care. What is this one? Mem Orb, level 1. Deals an additional 0.34 damage for each peg hit this battle. Can target any enemy. Can only be used once per battle. That's interesting, but I don't have that much money. And of course, the end screen will be like the end peg screen that determines how you'll navigate will change on any given map, so you will need to take into account the potential variances on any given particular stage here when trying to like plan. And as much as we'd like to think we'd all... I'm sorry? Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. As much as we'd like to think we can all plan perfectly, I mean, sometimes your shots are going to go weird and wonky and you're not going to get what you want. And this is a chest icon like we showed about, since we just showed the shop. Showing the chest here is another thing to sort of cross off the list. You walk up, again you can press enter, or I'm just going to use a left click here. And it'll have various rewards, again because we are the default little Peglin boy. Our Peglin tuition will give us additional options, but what a chest is remains the same, though the amount of options you have will vary. What are we doing? Walls and bottom bouncers are extra bouncy, and special button or contain additional refresh. I kind of want to do House of Slime. Why not? Another thing about chest, and another way that chest will always be the same. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to be able to get it. But if you wanted to, you could aim and try to hit... If you hit all the bombs on a chest map like this, and they all blow up, you will effectively, like, break the chest, and you'll get another piece of treasure. This is one of those... This can be achieved if you're, you know, by pure luck and happenstance. There are ways to, like, you know, make a bomb detonate in one hit, and make bombs detonate other pegs around them when they're hit. And those are ways that, like, help make it easier to, like, crack open the chest for, like, a second go. But we're not going to get that, and I want to show the bosses. So we're just going to go around. Pretty good. And much like the forest as a whole, we'll have a few, one of 3 bosses. I guess they're called mini bosses, the red skulls, like the one we're on now, also have their own little individual, like, pool of mini bosses. You're not going to get, like, a big boss on a mini boss stage. There are different, like, possible scenarios that it pulls from, so you're not going to get overlap. This one is a little less interesting. There's just a load of slimes, then one big green dude. Oh god. Not that much to it, honestly. We're just going to crit and try and do some damage. Don't do the refresh right now. Okay. I mean, I'm going to kill the first red slime. Guess we'll try and get some money since we're going to be going to a shop here. And if we can manage it... Come on, don't use the bombs yet. Thank you. Want to try and save the bombs for when all of the enemies are out, so we can get the most use out of the AoE here. I'm not going to bounce back in, unfortunately, but eh. Okay. Besides there being money down here, I want the bombs also. Come on, pop some bombs. Thank you. There we go. There we go. We can just go ahead and hit the other bomb right away. This little chunk of cash is going to be a little difficult to get to, but we got some time. Gotta try and squeeze in here. Oh, that was awful, but luckily they were nearly dead already. Man, these refreshes are in terrible spots. This one's a little better, so we'll try and get this refresh down here. Come on. Ow. Well, okay, we got some money out of it. And now we've just opened up the path normally, so we can always do this. Okay. See how much damage we're going to... Yeah, we'll be okay. Those slime boy doesn't do that much damage. I'm not going to realistically be able to get all the gold in the middle there. Now, there we go. Just doing more damage. We are taking some. It's not going great. I guess we'll get a refresh here. There we go. There we go. Crit is nice. We might... Oh, no, I'm kidding. There's no might. We're gonna have to use the heal option that's at the end of any given battle. I really don't want to die like this. There we go. So this would be a good moment here to show how that works. Like we talked about earlier, you can always, in the rewards, say pick a particular orb or to upgrade an existing orb, but we're so low on life, I just want to heal. Ooh, what are you? All orbs have persist. Every prime-numbered shot pierces an additional enemy. That is what it's like 1, 3, 5, 7... 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and more prime numbers. That's so weird. Let's just forget that. You know what? Sure, I haven't used this. Another good thing about not only any given orb, say, having the exclamation point, this is a new orb thing. If an orb or anything has a particular keyword that you don't know what it does, I don't think there's I think they will always have some sort of definition here. So if you're ever concerned or confused about, say, what persist is or whatever the keyword might be in question, there's always a good little tooltip. I guess we'll use Ring of Reuse. Since we can only go down, I'm going to try and get some gold here. I didn't think about explaining that. We'll talk about this really fast before we remove the orbs. If you will remember in the last little stage we left, there were on the outer edges, there were 2 pits that had fire on them. If you are going through the navigation phase, as it's called, and your orb lands in the fire, you take a little bit of damage. Where again, there are ways to get around it, but that's what happens more often than not. Now, what are we doing here? Orbit Story is nice, but I'd rather remove a... Yeah, I'm going to remove a pebble. Yeah, it's not that great. Let's see where the map takes us, where we want to go. I guess we'll go left, or try to go left. Come on, there we go. Oh, there we go. Gain 1 Belusion for every... I don't have any healing here. That's nice. Maybe we just do Eye of the Turtle and get even more options, since our build isn't really coming together yet. And you know what? Actually, I'm not that married to either way I go, so I can actually show trying to crack open the chest here. Of course, it didn't work, because I'm awful. Okay, what are we doing here? Oh god, this map. But luckily, since all of our orbs have persist here, we can kind of make some magic happen here, hopefully. Some dag orbs. Doing a load of damage, granted. I guess we'll do more damage there. That's not great. This will be another good moment here. There are some enemies that will occupy the like the ground floor level, and there are enemies like the bats here that can fly that can occupy the we're gonna say the sky, for lack of a better term. Their movement is independent, so you'll see that the bats will cover more ground here in the air, and the slimes will go, you know, one little step at a time. And you can, like we talked about earlier, target each individual enemy. Of course, whichever enemy you want to target will change for any given moment in time. We don't like the bats, since the bats not only will get here really quick, they also have a little life steal and will make them harder to kill. So, Reorganizer, get me a refresh. I just... What? Okay. That wasn't what I wanted, but sure. Okay, since the refresh is there, really got to get rid of this bat boy, but we got him. Again, getting rid of the other bat boy. Do not like them. They are not cool. Crit's nice. It's not exactly a kill. I hate how buried the bombs are on this map, but I don't think we have an option right now. Doing pretty good. You will see, like, in that moment where some enemies also, besides having, you know, enemies that are like bats that will fly across the top, certain enemies will have ranged attacks, although not all range is built the same. For example, the slimes can attack from one square out, but these last two can't, so they'll have to wait. So it's a way to buy time. But there are like archers and mages and stuff that have more traditional range attacks where they can attack from back here and then from back there and back and so on and so forth. Again, adding more and more to the variance and hopefully the mileage you'll get. I could have got a dag orb with a buttload of damage that time. It's not the smartest move. You know what? Yeah, we'll do that now. Throw that away to the dag orb, do a buttload of damage, and wow, we did not do a buttload of damage. That's cool, I guess. Okay, in that case, I really got to get over there and get that refreshed. Keep the refresh, please. There we go. Come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. It's not the smoothest. We don't love it. But in the meantime, would love to hit one of those bombs. We're really going to need to heal here. This is really going to suck. But to be honest, if I die, I die. You know, it happens. It's not a great spot to be in. Guess we'll reorganize her here. Hitting a bomb helps. That refresh is pretty big. Okay, come on. That helps. That's damage. Okay, we might be alive. Not by much, but we're alive. Do a dag orb, since we can get some damage here. And we just had to do 6 damage, so luckily we got there and we didn't die immediately. Heal right away. I guess we'll upgrade a reorbanizer. Our build is kind of a nothing burger right now, but that's okay. Yeah, we can go for another boss battle, sure. Just hopefully we don't die. Come on, give me something cool. It's less than cool. You know, honestly, now that I think about it, if we don't do that well here and we can't heal that much, we might not actually go to that boss. I didn't think about that. And this is another good example of the individual boards will have various designs. Some of them are, you know, referential. Like this is the bat map, for lack of a better term, and you know, the board is a bat made out of pegs, and you could argue these are also little tiny ones. Very cute. The game is very cute, and it's got puns. It's a lot of fun, and regardless of if I die in this fight or the next one, and the video ends here or we do a full run, this game is honestly a whole lot of fun to play. If you like deck builders and you like roguelites and are looking for a good little palate cleansery game, if you want to, you know, walk away from and spend some time away from your rage-inducing game you happen to be playing at any given point in time, Peglin is great for that. Oh, I really don't want to. If I use the bombs, it's gonna suck. So I guess we can reorbanizer and hope we hit something here. I want to try and save the bombs for when all of the bats are on the board, but if we don't have that option, better to use it now and take less damage. We're honestly doing pretty good damage. It's going better than I thought it would. Okay, come on. No. That's not great. Okay. Yep. Okay, that's one bomb. That's good. Damage is damage. That's another good moment. Earlier, when we were talking about the encyclopedia thing, and how sometimes you'll kill enemies and they had those little drops. The slimes we showed had like those 3 little drops under their like research bar. What you just saw the bat draw was its wing. Whenever you get one of those drops, they basically add to the research points on that particular creature in question. And again, the more research points you have, the more information you'll learn about the enemy in question, whether it be lore or stats or whatever attacks it has, etc., etc. Actually, happy we found that. Oh boy. My God, refresh please. Okay, that's okay. Okay, we're not dead. Wow, 2 in a row. All right, research points. Let's go. Guess we'll just do a refresh. Just need to do 15 damage. We didn't get a whole lot of money this round, but that's fine. 57. Do I take my chances? Yeah, you know, we'll take a chance. That's fine. Never mind, I won't take a chance. I didn't want to anyway. See what we get. There's a lot here. Again, we're going to try and make some money and going to try and save the bombs. Save the bombs. Okay. Okay, that's fine. And save the bombs for when all the enemies are on the screen, hopefully. Now, whether that actually happens, however, is another story. Stop using the bombs. Thank you. Oh my God, this oh my God. Okay, I thought this shot was over. Okay, even if we, use all the bombs, we did kill most of the things on screen. That worked out surprisingly well. Guess we'll go and try and... Actually, I could discard that and shuffle those, right? Yeah. Okay, that didn't get a better spot. I was hoping to get a refresh here, but that's not fantastic. Guess we'll go for the Bat Boy here. Get a refresh. That's not great. Just hope for something better. Okay, just doing damage now. We've gotten most of the gold that can be reasonably expected for this map. Annoyingly, they're just sort of regenerating away all my damage. Not all my damage, but some of my damage. Let's see. Good explosion. Yeah, alright, that worked out pretty well. Guess we're gonna heal again. And... yeah, we'll upgrade a Dag Orb. Why not? Let's see what we get. Let's go to a mystery. A little chance spot, if you will, and see what we get. Before we get to, I think, Nessie or whatever the name is. Ooh. Free upgrade for an orb? Gladly. Reorbanizer to level 3. I don't know why you'd ever want to not upgrade that, but I do like the choice and given the options, even if the option's a little goofy. And this is one of the actual, like, big bosses. And again, I believe there's 3 bosses to each particular stage as I record right now. Though again, who knows in the future if that will be the same or will change. Sure. Might as well just start trying to chip away. Forgot how much money this map has. My god. We'll take it. Actually, this is a good example. I didn't even think about that. As you will see by the, in this case, the bramble effect on us, you can also apply buffs and debuffs to yourselves and enemies. And if you are confused about what any given particular buff or debuff will do, again, you can just hover over it, and the game is really good about explaining what any given buff or debuff will be. In this case, Bramble's pretty self-explanatory by reading. I guess we'll do this. Okay, it's something. I mean, we're doing damage. This build is not the most exciting in the world, but it's getting the job done. Going. Okay, I thought we were going to get a crit here, but sure. Really wanted that crit. Oh god, they're buried in awful places. Oh well, I guess we'll start trying to get toward... There we go. There's a big chunk for 200 damage. Booyah! Doing fine. Again, we have more Dag Orbs, so more crits, please. For this particular fight, unfortunately, we can get our balls stuck in these little, like, brambly bits, but if you break one of the orbs that hold the balls in question, the orbs will sort of re-enter play and will go back to doing damage. If I can show that, I will, but I might not get an opportunity to. Guess we'll reorganize her here. It's not going fantastic. Go over here. Why not? Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to clearly have to show how that works. Oh my god. Okay. There we go. Break this, and you'll see the... Okay, well, the orbs do come back into play on this map, but they can also, again, get caught up again, so... Okay, that's better. Oh my god, I don't want to die. I am generally awful at games, so if I die, oh well. But we're feeling pretty good. Just try and crack these things open. And you can see in moments like this, when you get a real big release, you can do a lot of damage. And I think we'll be okay now. I don't think we need to worry as much about it. Try and get that bomb over there, actually. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. And that'll be it. With the bomb and the damage. One little nice thing, as you just saw, when you get to the end of a stage and you face an actual real boss, you do get a full heal, regardless of circumstance. Anything I want out of these? Kind of okay. Honestly, I might just upgrade my orb. Another thing that actual bosses will give you when we hit the continue button is that we'll get relics that we can use for various effects. Let's see. Continue Orbid. Spheriday's Fate. Make a little squirrel dude. All orbs get that, but they contain one less crit. I don't want to do that. I guess we could do Squirrel Boy. Not the most exciting, and it's one of the few relics that are, like, timed and have, like, a shelf life to them. But anywho, welcome to the castle. The castle being the second level, the second stage, whatever you want to call it. And again, much like the forest, it has its own unique enemies, unique encounters, unique bosses, both regular bosses and mini bosses. And as always, it's just a lot of fun to play. Although this is the map really where we're going to feel the lack of AoE. And if we die, we die. Would love to find some sort of AoE or there are orbs that will like attack all enemies. Just anything right now. But right now we just got to rely on bombs to be our damage here. Okay, that's fine. Luckily, the squirrel boy here will help us, at least with the damage, to manually chip through these shields that they're carrying. As you can see, the shields have their own little health bar. And yeah, I believe you can mess with the shields in particular by hitting these little pegs that now have, like, wood on them, is a way you can interact with them. Meantime, I thought I was going to get that crit. Oh, hell. It's really bad. Okay, I can get this crit. I'm not that bad. There we go. Come on, give me a bomb here so I can get through that. There we go. Was that not? Okay. I thought I had enough to get through that, but sure. Bomb. More bombs, more AoE. Let's try and chip down those shields. Any damage we can do is extra. Give me that crit. Give me that crit. There we go. Okay, that was very underwhelming, but sure, I guess we got there. Wait for the... Okay, well, I was hoping I was going to get in there a little earlier than that. Come on. That's fine. That's fine. We're doing okay. Really not doing that bad for our build being a bit of a nothing burger. But again, this particular run is really more so to show off the game than my totally high-end skills. And we got there in the end. Actually didn't take any damage. Well done. Is that the one that attacks all enemies? Hell yeah. Perfect. Again, this is one of those where if you're concerned or confused about what a particular effect is, the game is very good about explaining what each one is. But Spinfection is poison, basically. Again, it goes for the pun wherever possible. Go ahead and add, and we'll upgrade it to level 2. And continue. Where do we want to go? There's a shop and a boss to the left, so it's pretty self-explanatory. Granted, we can only go to one of the shop or the boss. We can't do both. Detonate in one hit. Increases your held money by 4% when entering a question node. Sure, we'll try and get that. But any of them are pretty useful to have. That's fine. Short fuse is fine, too. I think... Oh, heal 6 when reloading. We needed some sort of healing here. Another perk... Ooh. They detonate in one hit. Nah. If we can get the bomb thing where bombs detonate things in an area, then we can start trying to crack open things here. I guess we can just remove the last pebble here. Not the most exciting, but our deck is at a good spot where it's not that many, so we can reliably get what we need. Yeah, I'll take the bribe. Hell yeah. Why'd I rat him out? Post-battle healing increased. This is one of the few examples of an artifact that cares about your deck of balls being, Oh, ball sack. That's the ref. Okay, no, that's funnier. We're going to call it ball sack from now on. Your ball sack being bigger, rallying heart is one of the few that actually care about that. But it's extra healing, so what are you going to do? We'll take it. See what we can find. I do not want the fireballs. No, thank you. I'm not doing one of those, like, berserker-style self-damage things. See what we find. Ooh, the mirrors that will reflect attacks back at us. I think we'll be okay. I think it's a percentage, right? Yeah, the reflect is percentage based of the damage. Of course, if you just, kill your opponent on the first shot, you don't need to worry as much. Okay, we need to really get down here. Perks about the mirror maps it actually mirrors the pegs you hit on each side, which just makes life easier, and is a cute little and genuinely fun take on a mirror being an enemy beyond just reflecting. Kinda doesn't matter. Just looking for damage and money. And we'll get there. Honestly, pretty easy, really. Oh, Boldor, my sweet baby boy. I don't have enough for both. Well, I do have enough for both. Do I want both? I'm going to keep the money. God, I want to do that really bad. But we need some money to have some flexibility here. Now, the boss and a shop down the middle, so does it matter? I guess we go right. We're going to try and get some money and go right, if at all possible. Our goal is really to go down the center. Anything extra is extra. I don't like this particular encounter here for this build, so we'll go ahead and just say bye-bye. Oh, God. Come on, give me... Well, yeah, this one doesn't matter. We can pretty reliably get where we need to go. Heal 15% of your max health for every 100 coins collected. Bombs detonated while navigating provide 5. Give me more heals, please. Not going to try and crack open the chest. We have an actual, like, pretty clear idea of what we want to do. The mage boy. I guess we can hope we hit a crit. Hit a crit. There we go. That's pretty good damage. Another crit. Hell yeah. Persist is one of those, the Persist from the Ring of Reuse is one of those, what's the word, like buffs that doesn't sound, and it isn't very exciting, but it's always nice to have. Guess we'll just reorbanize her and just do damage. Since we've basically got him down to dead to rights here. Even with the little bit of Bulwark for extra HP, it's not enough. Go for the Ice Circle. Regular attacks pierce 1. Crit pierces all. Pierces first peg. No, because we're going to go to a shop. Attacks apply transparency to all enemies. So that's actually... Okay, that gives us more AoE here. Pretty happy. Since we can... Oh, I was going to say since we can only go down, I was going to try and get money, but didn't get exactly what I wanted. Whenever they refresh, they get upgraded. Extra crit. 20 times the number of reload to damage. Yeah, our deck's pretty small. Go ahead and get some stuff that cares about us reloading, since we're going to be doing that often anyway. And the painter. Oh boy. I think we're going to do the Cauldron Bubble. Try and get some poison going. Come on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, we'll just keep on applying some poison here while we have... Okay, I was hoping that bounce was going to be a little better. There. Sure, come on, give me something. That's... Okay, that's a refresh. That's fine. There we go. Doing damage. Going face. Messing bad boys up. Sometimes you need to care about the portraits that the painter is summoning, but we do enough damage, we just kind of ignore it. Do a crit, do damage. Just generally mess them up. And also with all the bombs here, we don't super need to worry that much. More crits. Give me a refresh. That's not a refresh. That is the opposite of a refresh. It's buried in such an awful spot. They're both in terrible spots, but sure, I guess we'll go for them. Okay, that's something. Doing pretty good damage here. Also applying some poison. Lovely. We're also taking a bit of damage ourselves, which isn't great, but oh well. Come on. Come on. There we go. Doing pretty good. I don't like this. There we go. Okay, that's not good. That's a really bad one. Oh boy. Oh boy. Maybe I should have started caring about the paintings. I usually don't and can sort of just damage through it, but I might not have the option to right now. Hi, sweet cat. I'm gonna die before I kill them. Hey, Goober, what you doing? Let me move the thing. But again, also, if we die, it's fine. I'm not going to win every single run. And this, again, was more to show you about how the game works, because we're going to die on next turn. But honestly, that's totally fine. And spoiler, you're not going to win every single run you do. And at the end, you can see a run summary here, where it shows you all of the orbs you picked that were new, or the relics you picked that were new. It doesn't necessarily require that a run be complete and you like finish the whole thing for it to like matter. So if you're like wanting to try out every single orb and every single relic, you can do so and not have to worry about necessarily like, what's the word, winning every time. And if you had fun, that's really the only thing that matters. When you're done, again, you can also see now a more detailed view of the particular run you were on, what you had, what levels, what you found, in what order, and what you did, what all the relics you were. All lovely bits of information. We'll go ahead and continue. And since we did get some what's it called? The bestiary stuff, I'll show you how that works. Let's see, I think the bats were one. And you can see where we got some more research points from the couple of wings we collected. And again, this is all the information you can get, and you'll see all that you need, or you'll see all the enemies that you will see eventually here at various points and places. And I do hope that was, you know, a somewhat in-depth look at Peglin, even though I'm terrible at games and happen to lose, but yeah, what are you going to do? It is now actually fully released, and I even believe on Switch if you happen to be watching this and have a Switch. So if you need a fun little card builder roguelike game that's a short little session kind of game that you can play just to have fun, not have to worry as much about taking things so serious, Peglin's a great game. It is not that expensive. Let me see, how expensive is it actually so I can properly show that. But anywho, the game is a lot of fun. It's got a good amount of mileage in it. I'm like 50 hours in, and I'll probably get another 50 before the game is done. And it does get pretty regular updates. So you can also expect new content, be it new balls or relics or bosses or enemies. You can also expect balance changes. It's really a really great game, and I would highly recommend... Thanks, Motorcycle Man. I would highly recommend you play it. And it's on sale on Steam right... Not on sale. It's for sale for $20. And if you can get 50 hours out of a $20 game, you're doing pretty good. Anywho, thank you all so much for watching the rare and exciting ShutIn Spotlight. And every once in a while, there'll be one of these around. I just have to find a new game that I particularly have fun with and enjoy. And Peglin is one of them. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. And, you know, go play some games, have some fun, and don't be a jerk. Bye-bye.